What's up, everybody? We are here at another Friday and another edition of On the Needle. So, before we get started with this weekend, just want to kick off and talk about Teddy Pendergrass's album, Teddy. So, that is the album I'm reviewing today. So, if you've watched my videos on the regular, you remember I did a review on Tina Turner's classic album, Private Dancer. So I picked up that record from my uncle. He got a slew of records that basically he found and didn't want some of them. So he allowed me to take literally like a couple crates of albums. So this is one of them. Now, I knew the big hits from this album. Turn it over so y'all can see the track list. So it's only 8 songs on here, which again, like I say, I've said this a million times, a great album does not have to have a lot of tracks. Actually, sometimes the best albums only have 8 to 12 tracks. So he definitely followed that formula here. But Come Go With Me, Turn Off the Lights are 2 really, really big defining songs, I would say, of Teddy Pendergrass's career. But before we get into this album, just want to get into his influence as an artist. I would definitely place him in the top 10 of R&B male singers of all time. His voice has such a rich texture to it. And I think he really gets overlooked a lot of times in those legendary types of conversations. But a few things I just want to point out here. So I talked about the track listing, and there's only 8 songs on this album. So I think artists like Bruno Mars really studied people like Teddy Pendergrass, because this album, although Come Go With Me and Turn Off the Lights are 2 of his biggest ballads, when you listen to the album in its entirety, there's also a good mix of club songs, if you will, or dance songs. So it's a perfect mesh of party and love, sex, maybe a little bit of forgiveness in there, healing, which when you fast forward to current day, artists like Bruno Mars are doing very well at, might I add. And then also you have the samples. Of course, a lot of artists have sampled Teddy Pendergrass. The song specifically, Come Go With Me, was sampled by Nelly and Jaheim. And one of my favorite songs of Nelly's, actually. I think it's one of the most underrated singles in his catalog. And if you want to take a look at this cover one more time, you might realize that this theme was taken by a certain male rapper. So Freddie Gibbs has an album cover, if you go look it up, where he basically did a replica of this view. So I didn't feel like wearing no full out suit for y'all today, but I said, hey, at least I can wear a little pink to kind of match the cover a little bit. But I think this, iconic album cover, he got the suit and everything on the back. So when you pick this up, or if you see this in the store, it's like, okay, he means business. So let's get into the album a little bit. So Kenny Gamble, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but his first initial is L Huff. Y'all put his first name in the comments if you know it. They were the 2 that signed Teddy Pendergrass. And honestly, when you look through the track listing of this album, the heavy hitters are with the both of them at the helm. So they wrote Come Go With Me, they wrote Turn Off the Lights, they wrote this song called Do Me, which so funny now when I think of that. And they also wrote another song called Life Is a Circle, which is kind of the inspirational song, if you will, of the album. But it's crazy how in 1979, listen to that song Do Me. It's so mild. It's almost like watching Lion King. It's like, oh, do me. It sounded like it was just probably so risque back in the day. And now, do me. People probably look at you like you crazy. Like, oh, what is that? Like you're, weak because you said do me. But, yeah, another song here. But I would say Kenny Gamble and L Huff, like I said, those 4 songs on the album that they wrote are some of the best ones. Another one that's my favorite is If You Know Like I Know, which I feel like that is just a quintessential old person saying, if you know like I know. My grandmother used to say that all the time when she was living. And now listening to this album, I kind of want to go back and say, did you pick that up from this Teddy Pendergrass? I don't know if he coined that. I'm sure it was around way before then, but it just made me laugh when I saw the title. But it's an upbeat song. And if you know, like I know, and Do Me are both B-sides to Turn Off the Lights and Come Go With Me. Why those songs didn't get bigger airplay, I have no idea, because I feel like they were amazing dance tracks that really could have had a great run. I feel like he kind of got cheated in a way, because to have an album like this, to me, where easily I could pick 5 singles, including Come Go With Me and Turn Off the Light, and to only have those 2 songs be the singles from this album as far as A-side singles or whatever, the front runner singles, if you will. It just seems kind of ludicrous to me. So I don't know what happened with that, who may have dropped the ball. But also, if you look back at Teddy Pendergrass's catalog, it could have been him making music so quickly too, because back in this time, he left, I think, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes in, I think it was maybe 1975. And it's funny because from that time, or from 1977, I think is when he got his first album out there and he got signed and everything. But from 1977 to, I believe it's like 1984, 85, he released probably an album every year, if not 2 albums in some of those years. So he may have cut off the potential success that this album could have had. It did go platinum. I'm sure it sold more than that by now. But which was a big deal back in the day, for an R&B artist to go platinum. Of course, you have people like, Michael Jackson that came out, Prince, but those artists to me are a little bit more pop, I would say. But I definitely feel like Teddy Pendergrass had some pop records in his bag on this Teddy album, but they didn't get to see the light of day. Could have also been because Come Go With Me and Turn Off the Lights were 2 huge singles. So sometimes when you have a really big single like that just carries for months and months and months, you can easily run the course of a year with 2 big singles. So that could have been the issue too. I don't know. But I do love this album. I have a greater appreciation now for Teddy Pendergrass. I always did like his music. But after listening to this album, Teddy, I do like his music and his vocals even more. So I'm curious, for those who may not have been around like I was during his time. I grew up with my parents listening to Teddy Pendergrass, so I am familiar with his music. But let me know what you think. What are some of your favorite songs? I'll kind of flash this up here again. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but this is the track listing. Sorry, it's backwards, but y'all get the point. What are some of your favorite tracks from this record or from Teddy Pendergrass, period? One of the songs that he made, the last song actually I can remember that he made, I think it came out around 1990, in the 90s, something like that. And it was called It Should Have Been You. That song was really, really dope. I loved it. Slow song, kind of talk about, it's like the One Who Got Away type of vibe. I think maybe the song wasn't as big as it could have been, but because by that time, when the early 90s came, everybody was kind of more into the hip hop wave. That was also right on the brink of the New Jack Swing wave too, that Teddy Pendergrass, Teddy Riley kind of helped usher in. So music, the landscape was really changing at that time. So I don't really think there was a place for a song like It Should Have Been You at that time. But great song nonetheless. So let me know what you think about it. Teddy Pendergrass as an artist, this album, maybe where his ranking would be in your mind in terms of greatest male R&B singers. And as always, thanks so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you to all of the new subscribers that have joined this week. So welcome to the family. I appreciate you all. And don't forget to check out the season 4 premiere of the Water Bearer podcast. coming this Thursday, January 18th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So the episode is called Captain Planet Crew. And if you watch it, you'll know exactly why it's called that, because there is a representative of each of the zodiac elements. So we got somebody from the air signs, which is me, Aquarius. And then you have someone that's representing earth sign, water, and fire. So it's going to be a bomb show. Y'all don't want to miss it. 7 p.m. Thursday. Water Bear Podcast. Don't miss it. Peace.